when using exponent properties for distribution across the fraction, it's exactly like what it sounds. You are going to go ahead and distribute that exponent to both the numerator and the denominator. So kind of like how we see right here in our general rule, we see we have a divided by b all raised to the n. That n is going to distribute to both the numerator and the denominator. So this gives me a to the n divided by b to the n. So if we go ahead and kind of apply that, on number 38, I have x divided by z all raised to the 3. Well, that exponent of 3 is going to go to both that x and to that z. So my answer here is going to be x to the 3rd divided by z to the 3rd. On number 39, we're going to do the exact same thing. We do have to remember some of our previous exponent rules, though. So for instance, right here, we have x squared divided by y, all raised to that 3. Well, we are going to bring that 3 to that x squared and to that 3. But because this x squared is now being raised to that 3, this right here is an example of that power rule, where if we have that power rule, we actually are going to multiply the 2 times the 3. So it's not just going to be x squared, and it's not just going to be x to the 3rd, it's actually going to be x to the 6th, because you do 2 times 3. Now the y does not have any exponent to it, so that 3 is just going to go to that y. So we end up getting our answer of x to the 3rd divided by y to the 3rd. Now number 40, we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to distribute that 4 to the 3 and to that x to the 3rd. Now a lot of people won't distribute it to the 3 because they think that they don't need to since it's just a number. Well, actually you still need to do that. So you still need to distribute that 4 to both the numerator and denominator no matter what it is. So x to the 4th, or 3 to the 4th, would be on top, and then on bottom, this again is an example of that power, just like what we just talked about. So we would end up multiplying that 3 times that 4, so we get x to the 12th. Now we can actually simplify this answer down a little bit more. Because we know that 3 to the 4th is saying 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, we can actually simplify that to end up getting us 81 on top over x to the 12th. So if I go ahead and take a look at number 41, let me erase that smudge I made. So if we go ahead and take a look at that number 41, we are going to distribute that exponent of 1/4 to both that numerator and denominator. Well, on here, this is another example of that power. So if we multiply 2 times 1/4, that gives me x to the 1/2. And then again, we still have to distribute that exponent to that 16, so we get 16 to the 1/4. Now both of these are examples of things that we've already talked about before. There are fraction exponents. I'm sorry, they are things we have not talked about before. So we are actually just going to leave that answer the way that it is right now. But keep in mind, this can actually be reduced a little bit more. And we're going to talk about that whenever we get to these kinds of rules in a couple more videos. But keep in mind, that can be reduced. This one right here, we would be doing the same thing. We would distribute that 1/2 to both the 49 and to the 16. Just because these are numbers does not mean they don't get the exponent. So this right here would be that 49 to the 1/2, and then that 16 to the 1/2. And then again, keep in mind, this right here, it can be reduced. It can be reduced, and we'll talk about it in another couple of videos, but this can be reduced. And then number 43, we're going to distribute that squared to both the 3 and to that 4. So we would end up getting 3 squared over 4 squared. But we can reduce that a little bit more because 3 squared is saying 3 times 3, and 4 squared is saying 4 times 4. So this answer right here would end up being 9 over 16.